So Mase recently went in on Diddy and revealed his true thoughts about him and Kim Porter. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome to the channel. If you're into hearing stories from the 90s and early 2000s, then subscribe and stay tuned. So we know Puffy is a business mogul, founder of Bad Boy Records, and he has played a great integral part in shaping hip-hop and R&B throughout the 90s and up till today. Not only that, he's given us some of the best reality TV with Making the Band. Making the Band was the first of its kind. Before there was American Idol, X Factor, or Britain or Americans Got Talent, Making the Band was one of the originals. We saw the contestants pushed to their limits with songwriting, dancing, stage presence, and they had to deal with Diddy, which couldn't have been easy. So I'm going to do some videos on Diddy over the next few weeks, and we're going to take a look into many of the reasons people give him the side eye and consider him a shady character. We know what many people call the bad boy curse, the fact that many people associated with him are now either dead, broke, or have suffered various hardships. And he seems to come off scot-free. So let's take a look at Puffy's relationship with Kim Porter. I'm going to call him Puffy for most of the video, but I'll probably go back and forth between Puffy and Diddy. You know how it is. Ever since her untimely passing in 2018, Diddy has alluded to Kim being the one who got away, the love of his life. No, it wasn't J.Lo. He raised her son Quincy as his own, who she had from a previous relationship with Al B. Sure. And Kim and Diddy went on to have 3 kids together. They began dating in 1994 and had their first child, Christian, in 98. So Kim and Diddy met while Diddy was working at Uptown Records. He said he saw her in the studio one day with Al B. Sure, but he didn't make a move for obvious reasons. They ended up dating in 93, and they welcomed their son Christian in 98. After the birth of her son, this is when cracks within the relationship began to show. Their son was barely a year old when Diddy decided to leave Kim for J.Lo. Of course, this left Kim feeling humiliated, especially as Puffy and J.Lo became a very high-profile couple. They were constantly in the equivalent of blogs back in those days, in the newspapers and magazines, and basically they were flaunting their love in her face. Speaking of the betrayal, Kim said, "Everywhere I went, people were asking, 'Are you okay?' I just hated that. People just believed everything they saw in print, and they were talking to me like I was really crushed. But I had a baby. I couldn't be somewhere in the corner heartbroken. I have kids. I'm a grown woman." Kim and Diddy were still living together when he began his relationship with J.Lo. He basically met J.Lo and decided that he wanted to move on to something else. Now, I believe Puffy and J.Lo met on the set of one of her music videos. They did that dance, that salsa routine together, and apparently that's when they fell for each other. So during this time that Puffy and J.Lo were working together on the music video, he was living with Kim. Of course, Kim was devastated, and she ended up kicking him out of the house. Even though it was technically his house, she changed the locks and made sure that he wasn't able to come back in. She was done. I told him someone's got to go, and it isn't going to be me and these kids. It was like my life was not my own. He was very, very intrusive. Now, they weren't married, but they even went to family court so that Kim could set some boundaries with him and set up visitations with the kids. He would say he needed to see his son, but I was at a place where just the sight of him would turn my stomach. My feeling was, "You made this decision, now stay over there." I can't repeat everything I said at the time, because it's not very ladylike, but I was very expressive about it. It's no secret that dating Puffy helped J.Lo break into the hip-hop and R&B world.
Puffy did one song on the album called Feeling So Good. He's an amazing producer and really has his ear to the streets, and I just knew that he would definitely give me a single. So
brought out the more hip-hop side of what you wanted to do?
Yeah, definitely had more of the kind of hip-hoppy R&B edge to it.
And he certainly bent over backwards to help her career in a way that he never helped Cassie, who he was with for years too, and who was also a singer. He just got caught up in the hype, and my man is Mr. Hype. That relationship wasn't real. The world saw the bright lights and the camera, but I knew what was really going on. He was still in love with me. Kim said that while he was with J.Lo, he would be calling her all the time, multiple times a day, trying to win her back. That's what she said. In response, J.Lo told Hollywood.com, "I'm not going to go there. Look, she knows what went on. I know what went on." And that is where we have to leave it. I'm not going to discuss any of the details of that intimate relationship that I had with the public. It's just not necessary. And after almost going to prison and almost ruining his and J.Lo's careers for good, the two of them ended up splitting after an incident in 2001 where both of them were involved in a nightclub shooting, which Shine ended up spending 9 years in prison for. I did a video on that, check it out. Shine is just one of many people who took the fall for Diddy, but thankfully Shine is doing very well now, and he's a politician. After Puffy and J.Lo split up, Puffy ended up changing his name to Diddy to try and distance himself from all the drama. Soon after they split up, J.Lo ended up marrying Chris Judd, a dancer.
I feel for Puffy a little bit. I mean, nobody want to kick the guy when he's down. I mean, anytime that the woman of your dreams that you love dumps you for the dancer, you know, hey, give a guy a break. Don't give it up for Puffy. He's going through a hard time.
Kim did end up taking Diddy back. In 2003, the two of them reunited. In 2006, they welcomed their twin daughters to the world. During the years Kim and Diddy were together, many questioned when they would finally get married, but Diddy made it clear in interviews that he wasn't ready for marriage. Speaking of his reluctance to get married, Diddy said, "I know she deserves to get married, but I'm just not ready. It's not a reflection on how much I love Kim. It's that I'm just learning how to be a good boyfriend. When I'm finished with this step, I'll move on to the next." A year after declaring that he just wasn't ready for marriage, the couple ended up splitting once again. Kim opened up in an interview with Essence magazine, revealing more about what she went through in her relationship with Diddy, in particular while she was pregnant with the twins. She found out from one of her friends that Diddy had got another woman pregnant. It just seemed the major issues surrounding their relationship seemed to surface when Kim was pregnant or had just had a baby. So at the time, she's dealing with twins, which is no joke, and then finding that out from her friend of all people, rather than finding out from Diddy himself at least. And of course, that was the final straw. She said, "It's not an original script. He's not the first man who's cheated. He's not the first man who's had a baby outside of his relationship. He's not the originator of this. But at this point in my life, I have girls now. It's a different program." So basically, she did what she had to do for her kids to make sure that they grew up in a healthy environment. She said that he didn't admit to her what he had done until after the twins were born. He told me that he may have gotten himself into a situation and he may have fathered another child outside of the relationship. And I said, "Really?" "Well, I already knew. I'm glad you decided to be a man." I was like, "Dude, this is so whack. I can't even respect you right now. And for me, once the respect is gone, I'm not even listening to you." And that was it. After 13 years, the relationship finally ended in 2007. But the good news is that Kim and Diddy maintained a good co-parenting relationship right up until her death. He was a good provider, he was there for his kids, and he was in their lives. Now, he wasn't a very good boyfriend, but she always maintains that he was a good father. He has a close relationship with his kids till this day, and he's always taking care of his financial responsibilities. Kim said, "We're committed to our children, even if we couldn't commit to each other." And Diddy always had good things to say about Kim. He called her an incredible mother, whose courage and strength he admired, and he basically said they were best friends, regardless. Even though Diddy and Kim weren't together, they spent time together with the kids. They did holidays together, family events together. When Quincy had a movie out, they all went to the premiere. They remained a close-knit unit and one big blended family. A week before her passing, Kim honoured Diddy for his 49th birthday. In a heartfelt Instagram post, she referred to Diddy as a genius and a force of energy. On November the 15th, 2018, Kim was found unresponsive in her bed. No foul play was suspected. About a week before her death, Kim had complained about having a sore throat, and she had a fever of 102. It got so bad that she went to the doctor, where she was tested for flu and strep. She was sent home with antibiotics, vitamins, and painkillers. Then she sent her kids to Diddy's house to make sure they didn't catch anything. Diddy spoke about the last conversation they had. He said, 3 days before she passed, she wasn't feeling well. She had the flu, and she sent the kids over to my house so they wouldn't get sick. One night I was checking on her, and she was like, "Puffy, take care of my babies." She actually said that to me before she died. On November the 14th, her fever went back to normal. It was about 96 degrees, and she spent the evening relaxing and watching movies. On the following day, November the 15th, Kim's goddaughter checked in on her and saw that she was still in bed. She assumed she was sleeping and left her to it, didn't want to disturb her. It wasn't until 11:30 when Kim's roommates walked into the bedroom and discovered that she was unresponsive. They called 911 immediately. The coroner later confirmed that she had died from lobar pneumonia, and the death was cited as natural causes. Now, of course, fans were sympathetic towards Diddy and respected how he stepped up to be there for his kids, who had lost their mother and whose world had fallen apart. But eventually, some began to call him out for taking Kim for granted for all those years, especially when he paid tribute to her. You know, people were like, well, you know, why did you take her for granted? Why didn't you marry her when you had the opportunity to? You know, that kind of thing. And he eventually admitted that he should have married her while he had the chance. On Instagram, he paid tribute to her, and he told a story of how she took a 12-hour flight and a 3-hour drive just to be there with him and support him while he was on set. He said, "Was always ride or die from day one. I called her Bonnie and I was Clyde. This picture will go down in history as the first time I said she was mine, and the first time I told her I love her. Little did I know I was hers. Miss you, Bonnie, and will forever." And then one messy fan said, "But you ended up messing with J.Lo at the time." And to his credit, he owned it and said, "Yes, I did." And then there were a lot of questions asking him why he never married her. And he said, "I was scared. I wasn't ready, and that's it. I'm ready now, but it's too late. Don't be like me." And this was only 4 months after her death. So, you know, he admitted that she was basically the one who got away and he should have married her when he had the chance. Ultimately, it comes down to being in the industry, being very wealthy, being popular, being successful, and these celebrities have a lot of options that they're not willing to give up. Now, for some, the manner in which Kim passed has never quite made sense to many, and for a lot of people, things don't add up. She went to the doctor and was given antibiotics. You can only assume that they missed the pneumonia. Ultimately, it's just a really tragic outcome. She was only 47 at the time, and it does sound like it's something that could have been picked up and treated, you know, and that her life could have been saved. So, you know, people do have questions, even to this day. In 2020, Al B. Shaw actually made an Instagram post that was kind of cryptic. So he made this post and then it was deleted. So he posted a photo saying that it was the morning of the Soul Train Awards. And he wrote, "I found this footage from the morning I learned of Lady KP's, aka Kim Porter's, murder, and how it ripped the soul from my physical body. I was on my way to film the pre-show packages for the BET Awards with Tisha Campbell and Tashina Arnold. when I received a call from PR icon Queenie Donaldson asking me if I was okay and did I hear the news. I had no clue, but I do know very clearly that Kimberly didn't check out all of a sudden over pneumonia. That's some BS. Really? This is where I get in trouble. We just celebrated our son Quincy's new deal and Christmas special with Netflix, and she was in fantastic health, as well as laughing, seeing me and Diddy's mutual exchange at the theatre. I'm going to leave it here. He never elaborated, and that was the end of it. A couple of weeks ago, Mase released a diss track against Puffy called Oracle 2. Now, when you read the lyrics, he really goes in on Puffy, accusing him of wronging so many people. You know, he mentions Shine, Biggie, and then during a live performance recently, he changed up some of the lyrics and he mentioned Kim Porter.
You can't stop a nigga came from wicked cannibal. Karma came and gave him daughters for what he did. The Kim Porter made the day he dies, he rests in piss water. Karma came and gave him daughters for what he did. The Kim Porter made the day he dies, he rests in piss water.
So, you know, people have alluded to things, but ultimately her death was classed as natural causes. And, you know, the coroner did find that she had had an infection in her lungs, which was pneumonia. So just a tragic story all around. So I am going to do some more videos on Diddy. I'm going to look into the whole East versus West Coast beef and what really started that, you know, the death of Suge Knight's friend. And, you know, there were credible witnesses came forward saying that Puffy's bodyguard was allegedly the trigger man. So, you know, there's a lot of evidence coming out that has come out over the years. So if you want to hear some more stories from the 90s, stay tuned and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Share your thoughts below. And don't forget to click the bell for more.